On the first Friday of every month for the last few months, I have been publishing a Sunday reset video where I show you how I am preparing for the week ahead. And the intention while filming this video was to do just that, but my whole day fell apart. It was just a plain old, good old-fashioned bad day. So I decided that maybe the lesson from that day is to talk about how can we lean into the bad days and learn from them. Because the reality is, whether your day is good or bad, you still have to get through it. And yes, sometimes I think there is a time and a place for just calling it quits and just taking it as easy as you can on a bad day. But these people still have to eat food. There are still things that have to be done. So even amidst all the things that are falling apart throughout the day, I still have to find a way to be productive. Here I am milling some grains for a fresh milled sourdough sandwich bread, but I actually milled the wrong grains and didn't know it until I started mixing it. I accidentally milled soft white wheat, and you need to use hard wheat for bread. And then when I milled it the second time to fix it, I then realized I was out of time and didn't even have an opportunity to knead it. So I'll show you how I fixed that mistake in a minute. But I think the first step when you're having a bad day is to just accept the fact that you're having a bad day. And I think this is a little bit tricky for homemakers or people who maybe work from home or some combination thereof, like I do, because often if you work out of the home and you have a bad day, when you come home, you get to kind of flip the switch a little bit. But when you're at home all the time and your bad day is at home and you still have to stay home, it can feel a little frustrating. But I think it helps to just accept the fact that you're having a bad day, because that gives you an opportunity to flip the switch yourself. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day like this, I feel myself getting willful against the day. Like I'm going to show the energy of the day who is boss. And that never works out for me in the long run. And I think it's really important in those moments when you're fighting against the bad day to remind yourself that productivity does not always mean doing more. It means getting the bare minimum done, getting food on the table, getting the dishes done, swapping out the laundry if that's what needs to be done. So here I'm just trying to simplify my bread baking process because the whole thing turned into a mess. I got it into the stand mixer and I was kneading it for a minute and I just had some sort of misfire of the brain and I realized I had to leave the house right away. So I did not have time to finish kneading it. And I thought for a moment that maybe I could just do some stretch and folds with the dough and then turn it into a sandwich bread that way. But I just decided it's a lot easier to make a big old giant kind of flatbread, sort of like a focaccia type of bread instead. So rather than holding myself accountable to dealing with that dough for the rest of the day, I just decided to put it in a bowl, bulk ferment it, and then deal with it later. Earlier in the day, I had started a big pot of chicken bone broth for pressure canning. So I keep a bunch of chicken bones and carcasses in the freezer, and then when I have a chance, I make broth with it. And right now, I'm working on building up my pantry staples because I live on the coast of North Carolina and we are nearing hurricane season, so I'm trying not to freeze anything. Usually I would freeze broth, but right now I'm trying to can it. But when I first pulled the chicken from the freezer, I did not realize that I grabbed a bag of chicken meat. And so I put it in the pot with water, boiled it, and then I was like, what in the world is happening here? And realized I was just boiling a bunch of chicken meat. So I started all over. And even though it really irritated me at first, one thing that is helpful on a bad day is to do the things that bring you comfort. And preserving food and canning is one of my favorite things to do. Now, I don't know if I would have chosen pressure canning as my activity of choice on any other random bad day, but I already had this broth that I needed to do something with, and there is this rhythm and process and these rules in canning that add a little bit of structure to a day that feels otherwise chaotic. And I think that's really important for people, for mothers, women who stay home or who are home pretty frequently, to lean on things with rhythm and process to maintain some sort of consistency and stability. Bad days are not the time to learn a new skill, to try something new. These are the days when we lean on the things that we already know how to do. Feed your sourdough starter. Make recipes that you know by heart. Tidy up one room. Switch the laundry. Things that don't require a lot of energy and a lot of thinking, but that also help you feel a little bit accomplished and can make your day just feel a little bit better when it's done. Now, speaking of sourdough starter, I wanted to show you quickly how to bulk up your starter. So when I made those 2 batches of dough, I ended up using almost all of my sourdough starter. And I have a lot of folks ask me, how can you make more starter? So first of all, if you see here, there was like nothing left in my jar. I think I had 12 grams of sourdough starter left. So what I'm doing is I'm feeding that 12 grams a double feeding. So I'm putting in 24 grams of flour and 24 grams of water. And so that will start building up the starter more so I have more to use later. And then what I'm going to do tonight, actually after recording this, is I'm going to then take that starter and give it another double feeding again. So that way I'll have plenty of starter to get back on track. What was a little bit obnoxious about not having enough sourdough starter is I really wanted to make sourdough granola, but I didn't have enough discard or starter to use. But one little hack that you can do, which is what I did here, is you can freeze sourdough starter, and then when you want to make a discard recipe, you can just pull that starter out of the freezer and let it thaw and then use it in your discard recipes. It's a really easy way to keep starter on hand. So even though I was a little annoyed with myself for not leaving myself enough starter, I still had plenty in the freezer to use for sourdough granola. But other than the starter fiasco, actually nothing went wrong here. And I think that's really important to remind yourself on bad days, because it is so easy to get focused on all the things that are going wrong and all the things you're dropping and all the things that didn't turn out right. And you kind of forget to see the things that actually worked out really well. And this granola was definitely a winner. You can get the full recipe for this over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. But in short, I'm mixing together sourdough starter. You can use active or inactive, or you can use thawed frozen starter like I did, a little bit of melted butter, some maple syrup, and vanilla extract. And I'm whisking that until it's really smooth and that starter is really incorporated. And that starter, it's important to incorporate it because that's the binding ingredient here. So later when you add the other ingredients, that's what's going to make those really nice granola clusters. But once I have all that mixed together, I'm just adding in a combination of rolled oats, some chopped nuts. I think I use almonds and walnuts, pumpkin seeds, a little sprinkle of cinnamon, and then about a 1/4 teaspoon of coarse kosher salt. And really, this is a sweet and salty granola. I'll show you what makes it really sweet and salty in just a minute. But first, once you get all that mixed together, just smooth it out onto a parchment lined baking sheet. Make sure that it's in a single layer and kind of mushed together, but not super thick. I baked it at 350 for about 20 minutes. And then as soon as it comes out, this is where the sweet and salty part comes in. Sprinkle it with a little bit of dried fruit. I use craisins, and then immediately take a little bit of coarse salt and sprinkle it over the top. What happens when you add the fruit and the salt when the granola is still hot is that salt dissolves into the fruit and into the granola a little bit more, and it creates a much more pronounced sweet and salty flavor. In my experience with recipes like this, that sweet and salty isn't about adding more sweet and more salt. It's really about how you combine the sweet and the salt in the process. And that was a really easy win for the day. 5 minutes hands-on time, 20 minutes in the oven, and you have a delicious sweet and salty snack. And really what I need on a bad day is sweet and salty for sure. Okay, let's talk about this bread. I think a really important part of leading into a bad day is working with it. So I'm just working with this bread. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. I don't want to throw it away. So I'm putting it on an oiled sheet and then just kind of pressing it with my fingertips until it's flat. And then I let it rise for a little bit while I had to go run a couple of errands. And then I am simply just dimpling it with my fingertips, adding a little bit of olive oil that's infused with chili. It's very good. Some salt and pepper, and baking it just like that. And I think that's something really important to remind yourself about dough that doesn't turn out right. You can always turn it into some sort of flatbread. You can roll it out into tortillas. Anything makes good breadcrumbs or croutons. So don't throw it away when your bread doesn't turn out. turn it into something else. Here I am making dinner, and literally the last thing I feel like doing on a day like this is making dinner. But I have a good hack for you when you have to make dinner in a pinch or if you're just having a bad day. First of all, the Instant Pot is your best friend, but the Instant Pot is really easy to deal with. Just throw some sort of protein in there. An Instant Pot needs 1 cup of water to come to full pressure. So throw in a cup of water, add anything with some flavor, close it, and cook it. So in this case, I'm making a really simple garlic honey chicken thighs. I put the chicken thighs in there. Instead of water, I used leftover broth from canning earlier. And then I threw in some honey, some chopped garlic, salt, pepper, closed it, and cooked it for 9 minutes. And you can do that with any type of meat in your Instant Pot. And rather than messing with chopping broccoli and roasting it or anything like that, I just steamed a whole head of broccoli right in a pot, which is actually my husband's favorite way to eat it. And it is very good. I might just start making it like that all the time anyway, because it's simple. So while that was steaming, I took the chicken thighs out, poured a little cornstarch slurry in that leftover broth to make a sauce. The bread was out of the oven, and somehow, on a really bad day, we had a completely scratch-made meal with a healthy protein, a vegetable, and 100% whole grain bread. It was not perfect, but it was delicious. And I think that's what matters the most. What you do for meals, what you do in your home, how you make it through your day does not have to be perfect. Mistakes and bad days, though yes, frustrating, they are also teachers. They teach us important lessons along the way. So as best as you can, lean into the bad day, let imperfection just be part of it. Try to find some sort of rhythm or comfort, and don't forget to celebrate the small wins. Remember, you are doing great. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I'll see you again next time.
Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome, honey.